Morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Episode 106 of the School of Shred. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday morning, November 10th right now, as we shoot this bad boy live. Today, we're going to talk about post-workout nutrition. I want to train you up on some considerations and best practices when it comes to post-workout nutrition, post-workout fuel. You got to fuel the body. You got to fuel the body if you want it to perform well. You got to put premium fuel in to get premium performance out. So we're going to talk about some just some ways that you can implement carbohydrates and protein post-workout and amounts that might be beneficial to you. That's what we're going to hit on this quick training here today. This is the School of Shred. This is your daily dose of health and fitness, folks. I am here for you. I am here to help you succeed in your health and fitness endeavors. And we are on episode 106. Like I said, the show comes at you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. here on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify, or on iTunes. So you know the drill. If you're watching this live, I always like to see a flex emoji, a little lactic acid. Let's flex some muscles in the comment section. And today we're going to get you better. So who is this episode for? This episode is going to be for the individuals out there who have an interest in recovering quickly and growing muscle tissue. All right. Muscle tissue is important for more than just how it looks, although it does look pretty dang nice, doesn't it? Do you like the way your muscles look? Muscles look nice, but they create stronger bones and, create more blood flow, create more storage capacity for glycogen. There's a lot of good stuff. Cardiovascular health is really big and is one of the big benefits that muscles provide us, and also bone health. So there's a lot of good stuff that muscles do. So although you might not want to be big and jacked and huge, maybe you want to be able to wear a suit and look good in that suit and have a nice toned face and whatnot, and, just look generally in shape. It is important to recover from your exercise and to try and utilize some of this stuff that I'm talking about. Utilize a little post-workout nutrition. It's all context dependent, though, so it depends on your goal, and it depends on a few things that we're going to get into here. So let's dive in. So I've wrote some notes here. I got post-workout nutrition. What does it help us do? All right, just so we know kind of what does post-workout nutrition do? Why does it even matter? Why would I want to approximately have calories around my workout windows? What would it do? So in the physiological sense, what it's doing is it's shutting down catabolism, whatever you want to call it. You get catabolic when you work out. And what catabolic is a state of decay and breaking down. And so it turns off the breaking down signal. Okay. When we fuel our body after a workout. Now that catabolic breakdown is a good thing. You send a good signal, but sound health is all about balancing out these different signals. So, we're tearing apart muscle tissue, but then when we're done tearing apart muscle tissue with resistance exercise, then we want to recover so we can grow muscle and get big and strong, right? And so if we have our nutrition correct at the end of our session, then we are going to kickstart and maximize muscle anabolism, all right? Your anabolic growth potential, which is muscle protein synthesis. You kickstart that, and that gets you out of this catabolic state. So, which is a good thing, which is definitely a good thing. Some key features of good post-workout nutrition would be it's a good time for a mixture of carbohydrates. So splitting between starches and fructose. And we'll get into why that's important here in a second. I've also found that it's a good time for cholesterol. Cholesterol is the building blocks for things like testosterone and other androgens, DHEA and whatnot. Cholesterol gets a bad rap, but the reality is cholesterol is really good. It seems to be if HDL cholesterols are low, that's what puts you at risk for a lot of the negative side effects that people have associated with cholesterol. A good balance of HDL and LDL and all that good stuff is what we're looking for. So, but even nonetheless, even if you were watching your cholesterol, but you spiked it only after your workout and you had your day's worth of cholesterol after your workout, that could potentially be a good thing as well. Because like I said, cholesterol is the building blocks to sex hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and DHEA, which I'm not going to pronounce that word for you because it's an extremely long word. And another key feature is this is not a good time for antioxidants, this post-workout window that we're talking about. Because antioxidants, they help with oxidation, but we want a little bit of that. We want a little bit of oxidation, a little inflammation after a workout. That's what sends the signals, the cellular signals that actually switch on the building process. So without a stress response, the body does not build. It does not need to. And so we don't want to have this super green shake right after our workouts, which actually shuts down some of that acute inflammation that we actually want in that time period. I did a blog a couple of weeks ago talking about how to, mitigate, how to decrease systemic inflammation, which is different. And in that article, you can go to johnreedfitness.com and /blogs. In that blog that I wrote, I talked about that, there's the differences in our inflammation, which is we have our systemic inflammation and we have our local inflammation, or acute and chronic. Acute is good in some things, in some respects. We need it to actually improve our health. But then if we have chronic inflammation, that can be an issue. So anyway, antioxidants are great at times before bed, things like that. Your adrenals are the number one storage site for vitamin C. Vitamin C is important for reducing cortisol numbers. So that kind of stuff is good for pre-bed to try and get you into a rest and digestive state. But after a workout, you might want to give yourself a couple hours where you actually allow for some oxidation to happen. And if you're healthy, your body is going to recover from that. And that's part of the anabolic muscle building system that happens. So, and then another key feature is that this is not a good time for anti-inflammatories. So, I wouldn't try and megadose a natural food like turmeric because of the curcumin in it right after a workout. I wouldn't do that. And then also, if you didn't know this already, NSAIDs should absolutely not be part of your post-workout ritual. NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And those guys are, a lot of people take them if they're excessively sore. If you're excessively sore, you need to look at your program and consider that you might be training too much and doing too much. And so you shouldn't be excessively sore to the point where you need to take NSAIDs, okay, like ibuprofen and whatnot. Use those very sparingly when you must. They have been shown to alter gut flora, and so they can actually end up causing systemic inflammation further down the line if you use them a lot and you rely on them. So only if people are trying to twist and break your joints, if you're doing something like jiu-jitsu and martial arts, do you want to use them, and you still want to use them very sparingly. If at all, stay away from those guys. They're actually going to blunt the anabolic response from a lifting workout. So, and then any other anti-inflammatory like CBD, I would not take post-workout. I would take that at different times. Like I said, turmeric, I would not take post-workout. I'd take that at different times because we want to actually capitalize on that stress response that we just sent with our resistance workouts. So as far as what does this look like? So post-workout nutrition ratios, I kind of talked about this on a question we had last Friday, but I'm going to get into it again because, good information needs to be repeated frequently, I feel, and it will make sense eventually as you avail yourself to it. So carbohydrates, how much carbohydrates do we want post-workout? So if you are, if your goal is to recover and you want to consume carbohydrates post-workout and your goal isn't to lose, say 50, 60, 70 pounds where it's just not going to be needed at this point for that type of individual. If you're within range of where you want to be, carbohydrate intake could be 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. What that really is 0.8 grams per pound or per kilogram. So I just did that. Conversion for you. So anyway, 0.3 grams of carbohydrates per pound of body weight. Whatever your body weight is, and then protein you're going to want to have and consume with that 0.2 grams per pound or per kilogram, and that would be about 0.1 grams per pound. So in my notes from last week, let's see here, I'll kind of list out just so you can kind of hear what that is again. So 180-pound person, which is me, I'm 180 pounds. Yes. I know I probably look a lot more muscular on camera, but anyway, 180 pounds would end up coming out about 54 grams of carbohydrates and 18 grams of protein. And some people be like, well, you need like 50 grams of protein. You don't need that much protein after your workout because you've already sent and kickstarted this mTOR pathway and muscle protein synthesis. You've already started it just by lifting weights, just by stressing your system out. You're creating an anabolic response. So you don't need as much. But with carbohydrates, that's where it can get fun. So there's some carb considerations when you're going to do that 180-pound person. If they're trying to get 54 grams. And this is something that I personally have practiced and I have noticed drastic improvements when I started doing this, which is a mixture of fructose and starch post-workout for your carbohydrate sources. And so this is really cool and kind of granular. So what fructose does is it actually turns off catabolic signaling. So it actually helps turn you back into an anabolic state. Okay, so it shuts down the breaking down within the liver, and then the starches are stored as muscle glycogen. Very easy. That's literally what they do. Their starches are easily converted to glycogen that goes inside of muscles. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch for recovery when you have a good mixture of carbohydrates. So you have some fructose, like some fruit sugar. I mean, some people like to do fructose in the way of a new processed food. I'm not super into that. I'm more of an ancestral type eater, but fructose and starch. So, maybe it'd be like honey on a sweet potato, or, this would be a time where maybe I'll do oatmeal and maybe some dates or a banana, or, just kind of a mixture there. So you're getting the fruit and you're also getting a starch there. So that's just covering your bases on the carbohydrate deal. If you really wanted to get more granular with it, like I said. So fructose turns off liver's catabolic signaling, and then starch converts easily to muscle glycogen. And then a consideration for protein is just that you want a complete protein. So something that's got all 9 essential amino acids in it, which is going to provide you with the 3 branch chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And you're looking to get about 1.5 grams of leucine, which can help really trigger that muscle protein synthesis. So most animal foods are going to have that. So if you have eggs, or you want to do a good clean protein shake, or you have a piece of steak. So one of my favorite post-workout meals is steak and eggs. I like to do eggs a lot for post-workout because the cholesterol, because again, when we're talking about cholesterol, spiking that after your workout could be a good time. Vitamin D and cholesterol together in the egg yolk. So that's something that I've always liked doing. Now, steak and eggs, I usually don't have a carb with that. So sometimes I'll add something else, maybe some honey or something. But I don't always do carbohydrates post-workout. And I don't always recommend that my clients do. It just depends on their goal. But I think like a straight steak and eggs combo is going to get you the recovery that you're looking for. Other options, that I've used and my clients have used are whole eggs and oatmeal with honey, oatmeal and dates, oatmeal and whatever piece of fruit that you like that's got a fructose type sugar in it. And then steak and rice. Steak and white rice is good with a piece of fruit. So things like that. And it does matter. It splits hairs here. It does matter when we look at, physiologically what it's doing. Are you going to gain muscle if you don't do this? Yeah, you're still going to gain muscle. You're going to gain muscle either way. This is for the individuals who want to maximize their efforts in the gym. I being one of them. I've had times where this is super important to me, and then I have other times where I just do my deal. And I'm fasting through it, and then I fast after it for quite a long time. The thing is if you have all the big pillars in place that we've talked about on this show, and that you've learned over the course of watching or listening to this show, you're going to have all of the things that you need. All the pieces are there. This is kind of that fine tuning, right? You're taking the wrench and you're tightening the screw, and you're honing things in. And so this is something that you could consider as your post-workout nutrition, because it does matter, but not to a degree that these other big pillars that we talk about through nutrition, exercise, and recovery, and all that good stuff, be swept aside. You still need to be sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. You still need to have your calories in check from whole, nutritious foods that have been around for a long period of time. I'm not a super advocate for processed foods. I think that's something that we could all do a little bit less with, because all the vegetable oils and the extra sugars that are in there causing inflammation and whatnot. And then, your exercise routine has to be on point too, right? You can eat for fat loss. You could eat and lose weight, but you're not going to change the shape of your body. So, or change, and really the shape of your body, that's only one piece, right? Like that's the external. Like even myself, I get caught up going to the externals of like, oh, losing body weight, da, da, da. But, by changing the shape of your body, you're changing your musculature. So you're changing your bone mineral density. You're changing your cardiovascular health, which is changing brain health, neurology, all that good stuff. So all of that is important. This type of post-workout stuff can just be can be considered as well. So that is it for today's show, everybody. That is 106, episode 106 of the School of Shred. Thank you for hanging out with me. With that, I want you to stay strong and healthy in body, stay relentless and energized in spirit, stay determined in your pursuits today, school. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments section here, and we're going to collect away, and we're going to answer them on Friday. So have a good day, and with that, I will see you next time. Class is dismissed.